For seek and destroy, what we're going to do is use our rad rod or a golf club or whatever you have, but I think this is the best tool out there, so we recommend them all the time. Go to radroller.com and the product is called Rad Rod. So what we're going to do is seek anything that feels tight or tender and then destroy. But by destroy, all we mean is we're going to work on it. So I'm going to put this back here on my calf and I'm going to roll. Notice I'm holding with finger and thumb across everything on the front side, the back side, and the outside that isn't bone. If it's not bone, it's fair game. And I'm just going to roll that area, and while I'm doing that, I'm paying attention, and I'm going to try to find spots that are tight or tender. So if I find a spot, wow, that's pretty tender, then I'm going to work on it. That's what we mean by destroy. So I'm just going to stay focused on it for maybe 20, 30 seconds, then move on to the next one. The overall length of time you spend on your calf is really up to you. I think we all have that little clock inside our bodies that says, I'd like to be done now, and I think we need to honor that and just stop when it feels like it's the right time to stop. The idea is that on a regular basis, you're loosening that up. This should not hurt. In your case, if you're doing this drill, it will hurt because it's dysfunctional tissue. Normal tissue is accepting of pressure. Dysfunctional tissue is not. Doesn't matter if you're talking about an internal organ or a muscle. So continue with this and then move on to the stretch. I'll show you that next. After seek and destroy, the next thing we're going to do is a Soleus stretch. A Soleus stretch is simply stretching your calf when your knee is bent. So I've got a wedge here in the clinic. I'm going to put my foot up on that. My heel stays down, and now my knee travels forward over my foot. I want to keep the middle of my foot centered over the middle of my knee. I want the stretch to be noticeable but not strong. I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds. You may not have one of those wedges. What works also very good, and I'll show you from this direction this time, is just take a small kettlebell and lay it back on its back. So now again, my heel is down, my toe is up on the bell portion of the kettlebell, and now I'm just allowing my knee to come forward. Keep in mind, when you need this drill, it means your calf is tight and your knee is going to want to dive in. It's trying to go forward by diving in. That is cheating. That is training the compensation, not the solution. So keep the middle of your foot lined up, or the middle of your knee rather, lined up with the middle of your foot. And again, noticeable, not particularly strong, hold it for 2 minutes. That's the next move of the big three. After you soften it, you lengthen it. So the third step of the big three is to use the range of motion that you acquired by doing the soft tissue work with the stick and by doing the stretching. We're going to begin on a box. So I've got a 4-inch box here. For you, it could be stacked up books at home. It could be whatever you have. 4 inches is a guide. It could be less, it could be more. It's just fine. The idea is that I need it to be high enough so that when I look to tap my heel on the ground, that it's a challenging distance for me where I'm not going to be cheating by doing that, and certainly not by the knee diving in. We've already talked about that. Middle knee over middle foot. So if 4 inches or whatever height you have is easy, build it up so you feel like it's a challenge. If it's not challenging, it won't be impactful. This is no different than working on a computer without hitting save. If you save, the work is saved. If you don't hit save, it's like the work never happened. Now, if you're using a stair in your home, stairs are 8 inches. No one has that much range of motion to do that without compensation. So you need to then take something like this, again, it could be a book, whatever you have, and build up the bottom stair so that when you go down and touch that, it's a distance that is appropriate. The number is just have to be some amount to make a little bit of fatigue. I usually tell people somewhere 8, 10, 12, just about like that. If you can do more than 12, it probably wasn't high enough, or you probably don't need this drill anymore. There you go, big three for dorsiflexion.